Welcome. Well, it's been a really tumultuous 2.5 weeks. Neale and I have done 7 different cities in America. I have no idea how many miles we've flown, but we've just flown another 15 hours back all the way from Atlanta. Now, Neale, you're the editor, publisher, and owner of Real Estate Investor magazine. I thought I'd just show you guys all a copy. I know that last month you actually interviewed JT Fox, one of the world's leading wealth and property business coaches. This month you actually had George Ross, who's Donald Trump's right-hand man. And tell us a little bit about what you really got when you were now in America with the signature here from Jack Welch.
Well, obviously the whole event culminated in Orlando, and it was at Mega Partnering 8, and the keynote speaker was Jack Welch. And obviously I had the opportunity of meeting the guy, and quickly I got his signature, and he happily signed the Real Estate Investor
just put that nice and close so that people can actually see the signature.
And for those of you who don't know who Jack Welch is, I mean, he's a legend in the business game. He was the CEO of General Electric in a number of years, which is, I think, top 6 Fortune 500 company, and I mean, he led them to absolute success.
He's been called the manager of the decade, manager of the century.
Yes.
For the 1900s or whatever you call it. So.
Yeah. And I think you can see that when we saw the interview that JT had with him on stage. I mean, he's just so humble, and I mean, he came up with that word candor, which I think we're going to implement certainly in our business, and I'm sure you're going to do the same in your business.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. Well, look. I want to use some candor now. I want to understand from you what you found on the ground. Tell us just before we get into that a little bit about yourself. You come from a lot of experience. How long has the magazine been going on?
It's more than 7 years.
You're the #1 player in South Africa and globally, actually, in terms of people getting the right information. And you tell us a little bit about that history.
Yeah. So I mean, we launched in September '07. And that was also right in the time in America when obviously the global financial crisis started. So it probably wasn't a good time to launch a magazine in real estate because it was a really tough time. Remember, only in South Africa the following year really became tough. I mean, '07 wasn't that bad. It was the start of tough times, but it really only kicked in, I think, sort of right about June, '08, July. That's when things got really, really tough in South Africa. So it took a little bit of a while. So we're 7 years through. We're available both in print and in digital, so you can access us for free, by the way, on our website, and you can on your
what's the website? Just
www.remag.co.za, and you can get it on your tablet. And the exciting thing is we're going to put on video. So this video, for example, we'll put at the back end of a number of articles, which we're writing about, of course, in the next edition of Real Estate Investor. So it just brings the whole sort of editorial experience alive. Just makes
but I mean, at the end of the day, and other than being a good friend of mine, but I mean, you are the #1 person, the most respected person in this country when it comes to residential, commercial, and international, in terms of actually reviewing it, understanding it, and educating people as to what the risks are and the opportunities.
Yeah, look, I meet a lot of people. I know a lot of people in the industry because obviously it's my business to know everybody in those areas, in residential, commercial, and offshore. I've got a sort of a helicopter view of the industry, rather than a sort of a very expert view, because you understand the American market. I mean, you understand it really well, and you understand the UK market and the Aussie market simply because you played in it. So I mean, I understand it from a sort of a group, let's say helicopter type
global view.
Global view.
Yeah. But now tell me, I mean, let's now review the trip. I mean. As I said, we've become good friends over the years because we do a lot of functions together and we've been on a lot of events. But in April last year, we decided that it was probably time to go check the American market out again.
Yes.
I went in 2010. I spent 5 weeks there. Although there was great opportunity, I also believe there was huge risk, and so I decided in 2010 not to invest.
Right.
But in 2012, you and I and a guy, one of our partners, Brendan Brown, decided it was time to go check it out again. And so we did 8 cities in 11 days, if you remember. Some pretty funny stories and some pretty funny characters.
Yeah.
And it's been 18 months since then. And I approached Neale probably about 3 months ago, and I said, listen, Neale, I think it's time for you to come back over, because when we went, that was like a introductory kind of, is there an opportunity, isn't there? Yes. And I think we all agreed there certainly was an opportunity, and we went ahead and really got quite actively involved. 18 months later, I said, Neale, I think it's great if you could come back and actually see now with experience what we found, what's working, what's not. What was your kind of overall opinion 18 months ago to now, and just kind of the general scope of what you found on the ground?
Well, I think the first thing is that the American market is recovering pretty quickly, in fact quite rapidly. We just need to look at Atlanta, for example. I think it's grown almost 100% from last year. So it was at 60,000 was sort of like an average entry-level 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. That's going for 120, even, you know, if you're lucky, probably 130. And so I think that's the one big thing. So it doesn't matter which area you break it down. I mean, it's clear, you read in the press, we can see from the numbers and the properties which are on offer. Compared to the last time that we went, that definitely the market has recovered. It still hasn't caught up with replacement values, so there still is some equity available for investors there who want to get some upside on the capital gain. But certainly what I'm impressed with is the rentals. The rentals are pretty secure, and the control mechanisms that are in there. Then if we start looking at sort of city by city that we visited, North Dakota was a real eye-opener. I think clearly...
Just for those who don't know, North Dakota is where there's oil. They found oil about 6 years ago, and if they get it right due to the horizontal fracking, and I'm not going to get into all the details, you can watch our North Dakota video if you're interested.
Right.
The point being is that America will be self-sufficient by 2017.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
It's unbelievable.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to give that the context of why we went to North Dakota.
Which I think that's good news for America, because if you look in the States now, I mean, they've always been buying their oil from the Arabs, and now they're going to become self-sufficient, and that's going to obviously push oil prices down, which is a good thing for the Americans. You know, we wish they would push that through to South Africa. We can get the same benefit. But it's a gold rush thing. I think that I couldn't believe what was going on there, the number of trucks, the activity, the shortage of real estate, the shortage of everything, which means that, you know, for at least a good 100 years, they're going to need amenities. They're going to need, you know, hospitals to housing. I mean, we saw guys sleeping in their vehicles, and you know, that's how much the shortage is there. These guys staying in man camps. They're staying in these 1-bedroom sort of. They look like it's a little cabin.
Yeah, it's like a windy house.
Yeah, pretty much. And they're paying $1,000 a month, you know, for just for a cabinet, you know, which is unbelievable. So the opportunity is there for somebody who's got that, you know, for that kind of appetite to come in right at the bottom and to get benefit.
Didn't you enjoy the energy though?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the place is just buzzing. Like you can't help but get caught up in it, you know.
And then also the guys have welcomed us so nicely.
Yeah.
I mean, we were taken in, and you know, South Africa, and we met all the top guys.
I was actually going to ask you that. I mean, we met the Center for Economic Development. We met the economic planner, head for economic planning.
Yeah.
We met the guy that's second in line to be the senator of North Dakota.
That's it.
I'm trying to think who else we met, but I mean, really, we literally met the top of the top, you know, and. It was one of the best ways, and it's what we always say, you know, you've got to find the right partners because you've got to have the right information.
Absolutely.
You know? What did you think of all those people we met?
No, look, those guys are good to go. I mean, it's pretty much there's a sound team there. You can see. I mean, just the way that they explained what is actually going on there, and they took us on all the tours. They accompanied us on every single tour that we went to, showed us the lay of the land, showed us what's actually happening. So I think for any investor who wants to invest, I mean, pretty much we're getting information at source.
They also showed us what not to do.
Yeah.
Remember they took us to a couple of developments and they said, don't do this because there's no electricity or sewer coming in this area, and you know, that type of thing.
That's a critical thing. I think that's also the other side, showing the other side what not to do. I think it's a good point to make.
What about New York? You know?
New York is New York. I mean, it's a massive city. Manhattan, obviously, you know, it's a bit more complex. You're not going to really get any good deals in Manhattan. But outside Picken, and then obviously New Jersey, there are opportunities there. And Picken is pretty much, I mean, it's very close to Manhattan. And I was surprised. I'd never been to Picken before. And that could be livable. I think certainly, you know, you don't get the hustle and bustle of right in the center of Manhattan. But you're close enough, you know, it's a tube train away. And then we went to the cake boss's business in that area. So very interesting, but pricing wasn't too bad either. It looks livable, I think, for anybody, you know, where you can get the you know, the lay of the city, and so yeah, it was pretty good.
Did you enjoy going to Madison Square Gardens and watching ice hockey?
That was fantastic. My first experience ever been to, you know, watch an ice hockey game. The Canadians, unfortunately, had fortunately or unfortunately, they don't really care. They had the upside on the Americans. They won 2-0 because it's the Montreal team against the New York Rangers. But it was what an experience again, so fast and it's incredible. It's
No,
really
no,
a fantastic experience.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I must admit though,
Yeah.
you know, for a country that's coming out of one of the biggest economic recessions I've ever had, there was
Yeah.
a serious vibe in New York as well,
Yeah.
hustle and bustle.
Absolutely.
But then we jumped on a plane, we went down to Atlanta,
Yeah.
and there we looked at lots of different opportunities, everything
Yeah.
from land to residential houses to commercial office blocks.
Yeah.
What was your opinion there?
Look, I like Atlanta. I think Atlanta is almost like my the prize sort of area. For a couple of reasons. One, obviously the quality of properties, they're fairly new properties, and also because of the sound management team on the ground. I think you've got RJ and he's got his management team below there, and he just gives you a lot of confidence. He's very close to the market and he understands it very well. Obviously the prices have gone up from 60 to 120,000 since our last visit. Sometimes even more, depending of course where it is.
But replacement value is still 200.
Replacement value is still there's a lot of opportunity. Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's where the big win is for the investors out there, is to get the upside.
What about the land? You and I have spoken about this a lot. There's very little entry-level stuff for someone locally to invest offshore with 150,000 rand.
Yeah.
What did you think of some of the land opportunities we looked at? Because I've never invested in land.
No.
It doesn't earn an income. It's not something that really excites me. But when I can buy something at 10 to 25% of replacement value,
no, for sure,
then that's something that excites me. On a golf course, etc., etc.
No, look, I think Scott, land is making a comeback, and it's making a comeback now, specifically there in that Atlanta area. Certainly also in North Dakota as well. So land, I think, is making a comeback here in the US. I wouldn't say in all areas, but certainly in Atlanta. And I think there were quality, they call them lots, not plots. Plot. Lot. But pretty much, I think they're quality areas. I just love the fact that you got the forest behind all these areas in Atlanta. They really are. I think that it's quality areas. The one on the golf course, for example.
And they're fully zoned, so there's none of the sit, hope and pray strategy. They're there, they've got value straight away. Yeah. You're not waiting for zoning or planning or anything like that.
Absolutely. So I think if somebody wants to get in and they like to buy and sell plots or lots, I think there's an opportunity there, and I think they should do it, because in South Africa we had it in about 2005, 2006. A lot of people bought these golf course plots and what have you, and they flipped them. And I think similarly here, there's a new opportunity to do that if you want to flip some good cash in a year or two. I think that's a great opportunity.
And to be honest,
and then
also for people, they can build a credit rating and they can build a house later down the line when they got more money, and then they can get rent. And there's quite a few strategies.
So, absolutely, depending on the strategy.
Tell me the commercial building we looked at, the one where we had the anchor tenant as the bank, and it was about 50% let. That's the opportunity, because we can raise the sort of occupancy on the building. I don't know if you even know this, but the current rent is covering the bank debt at an 80% loan to value.
And there's 50%.
That's with 50% occupancy. So we basically can get a cap rate there up to nearly 20%.
Wow. Look, the building is quality. It's top quality. It's in a quality area. It's got loads of parking. You can see it's close to residential area. There's some quality tenants in there already. So it's just a matter of, I saw that there were a few rooms that were vacant. And I think if you're saying it's covering the debt already, then it should be quite easy.
Well, everything's upside.
Absolutely.
But just for people, we've got a strategy there. Henny owns 6 hospitals and is building owns 8 and is building another 6.
Right.
We're going to do medical centre there.
Okay.
So that's the game plan.
Well, that's fantastic. No, look, I think it's having not seen the numbers, because we discussed.
We're still waiting for them. They're still being done.
But certainly with that kind of cap rate, I think pretty much it's a good buy.
So we jumped on a plane, we went to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma was voted as the #1 most recession-proof city in the whole of America during the American crash.
Yeah.
It was a bit of an experience, lots of cowboys and also oil-based. What was your experience there?
It was impressive. I'd never been to Oklahoma before, and so for me it was a brand new experience. The quality of developments, I was very impressed. We saw some really top quality properties. Pricing was good. I think South Africans like that kind of property.
It's brick and it's new and it's what they used to.
Everything's brand new, and it's lots of space and pretty impressive. But compared to the same house in South Africa, you're getting really, really good value.
Yeah.
And so if you start looking at price points of houses
and good solid yields, you've got 8 to 9% net yields, which is really competitive for a first world country.
Absolutely. And once again, I think you've got a very good partner on the ground as well. And I think that's also the critical part, because people are concerned about the management, the property management side of things. and I mean he's a top guy from on the realtors, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean he's basically head of the Realtor Association for the whole state,
Yeah.
and is represented on the national level of the National Realtors Association. Plus the management company there actually has 13 different offices with 3,500 different properties under management.
Yeah.
They've been going 22 years, and all they do is investment property management. So they really are. Like everything in America, it's done at a scale we're not used to.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. No, but yeah, I think it's pretty impressive. I was impressed, and yeah, I think it's definitely an option.
So now we're getting tired, and we jumped on an airplane and we went through to Memphis.
Yeah.
And other than the good party on Beale Street, which is always good with Elvis, I know you did a touristy thing and went around and checked out Memphis. What were your thoughts on Memphis? I know the first time we went to Memphis it was a bit of a shock.
Yeah, it was.
And we didn't meet some very good partners, and we certainly didn't see some very good properties.
No.
But what was your thoughts second time around?
I had a different perspective, I must say, and it's probably because we stayed in the city centre. We just went to different places. We went to different areas. I think we went to...
Well, dude, it's like coming to Johannesburg and staying in Sandton versus Soweto. It really is, you know what I mean?
It was kind of like that. And I mean, the quality of properties this time was very, very different. But what I really like about Memphis is that the team that you got there, the guys who are on the ground, first of all, they're all investors. And I like that. I mean, because they're all invested themselves into the market. So they're giving a lot of other investors confidence. Obviously they're managing their own properties, and they're not prioritizing their properties over others because they're in the business of managing properties for absolutely everybody. And I just think their understanding of that market and the value entry point is, I mean, we're talking about $70,000, $80,000 to 100, and some of the size houses for that was, I couldn't believe, and the plots
and good yields, eh? I mean,
and of course
we're getting net yields of 9 to 13%.
Well, I think it's some of the best yields.
Yeah, they're the strongest yields
by far compared to any of the others. So I would say Memphis definitely. If you want to break into the market first time, and maybe you can't come into the higher end markets, I would say Memphis is without a doubt. I would recommend that. And also to build up the credit ratings.
Yeah.
I think that's the critical thing. So if you want to get in the market, build up the credit ratings so you can get the loans and you can start building your portfolio.
Because I mean, what Neil's talking about there is you can get the credit rating, then you can get financing as high as 80% loan to value, 6% fixed for 15 years.
Wow.
I mean, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to work out if you've got an interest rate fixed at 6% and you're getting a net yield of 8% plus.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. No, I think for an investor, that's the golden nugget that you're looking for. That's what you're searching for. So I think, so definitely from Memphis as a startup, get going, good price point, good yields, it's a good place to start.
And then we went up to Chicago, first time for me as well. It was just an exploratory trip.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of an eye-opener, I must admit. What a beautiful city.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, Chicago is a sprawling, urban, I mean, it's a fantastic city. It's unlike New York, where New York is more sort of bunched together in Manhattan, whereas Chicago is more spread out. Slightly more relaxed, but also a big city. I mean, it's the sixth biggest city in the world. It's sixth biggest economy. It's massive, absolutely massive. And I mean, once again, I think the partners the partners on the ground. We went with the right people who understand the apartment side of things.
Yeah, look, we're still investigating those guys. As you know, the first time you saw them was the first time I saw them.
Yeah.
So we looked at apartments. You didn't even come with us. We actually met another guys that do single-family homes, where they buy them, renovate them, and manage them, similar to what we do in other areas. So I would say with Chicago, watch the space, because it's a really beautiful city, and I think the fundamentals are good there.
Yeah.
And if the partners, we obviously need to do our due diligence on them, but if they stand up, they've come through pretty good referrals. John Chin was the one that recommended us. So and JT Fox actually. Funny enough.
No, sure. Because I think it's also good for investors to have a big city on your portfolio. You know what I mean? And Chicago is very stable. It's a very growing economy. And what I've seen of some of the numbers that John showed us, some of them look pretty good. You just need to understand it a little bit.
Definitely needs more research.
Yeah.
Two last questions. We went down to Orlando then, and this is quite unusual. We won't be doing it again. It was a once-off experience, but going to mega partnering and meeting the likes of Jack Welch and Randy Zuckerberg, and what was your experience of that overall?
No, that was awesome. It was really fantastic. I was sort of going into Orlando with trepidation. I mean, last time we actually went to go look at the Orlando market, and we know that there are opportunities in Orlando as well. But this time it was really for the purpose to go to mega partnering, and I must say it's really energized. I've got brand new energy just from just listening. I really listened intently to Jack Walsh and to Nida Cobain. And then, of course, Randy Zuckerberg is the sister of
Mark Zuckerberg.
But importantly, she's a kind of Facebook.
But I also thought that like she was just the sister. She wasn't just the sister.
No.
She was involved in Facebook from when they were still in the house.
It wasn't in the movie.
You know what I mean? It wasn't in the movie. I agree with you. It wasn't in the movie.
So many people don't know about her. So she was very much involved in the startup of Facebook. So clearly, and then she actually decided to break away. Obviously, she's an entrepreneur in her own right.
She's going to be one of the leading personalities in America. You can see it.
Absolutely.
She's really
wonderful person. Now, I mean, it was very, very special, and I just think the quality of the speakers, the quality of the information that came out there is just really, really top class. I'm going back now and I implement absolutely everything in my business. I have to just prioritize all those notes. I took copious notes, and now it's all about implementation. We heard about the speed of implementation, because there's opportunities, and I say to the investors as well, these opportunities in the US are not going to be around forever. So my suggestion to you is to move quickly. I know, Scott, you're having webinars and all this as well.
We're doing stuff all the time. Go to the website. I'll give you the details at the end. My last question, Neale. A lot of people kind of think about coming on a buyer's trip as negative. It's time away from the office. We're all time poor. It does, as South Africans, unfortunately, cost quite a lot of money to fly over there. But you got to experience 2.5 weeks with some really top-notch people. What was your experience of the people on the tour? Because some people, they see themselves as too sophisticated or too important to come with other people.
Sure.
But I think it's the worst mindset ever, because if you actually come along and network with the likes of you and myself and Henny and all the other sophisticated guys. I mean, the one guy was investing $11 million. He's one of the most successful entrepreneurs out of Botswana. And we got to learn from him and listen, and him and Henny were going back and forth, and it's invaluable for everyone on the bus. What were your thoughts on that?
No, it was awesome. Scott, I think really, I remember the time when you wanted to start out with the buyers tour. Initially, I think it was a great concept. I mean, this is what, buyers for 4 or 5? Six. Well, there we go, 6. So, and I just think that the quality of people there that you actually glean off from others, and obviously they're there to learn, they're there to see and share information. And I just think that it just gives a whole vibe. There was a whole vibe. I mean, I reckon we're probably friends for life. Everybody that was on tour, and I think that's when new friendships are made. But also, it could be somebody that you could end up doing business with.
I mean, Pedro and Andrew are doing business from the trip.
Well, there you go. So there's a lot of spin-offs, and you're getting in the information firsthand. It's not as if you're getting it by a third party and somebody's trying to push a property to you. Like the realtors just want to sell the stuff. They just want to sell you, get it over, and it's gone. Whereas here, there's a relationship, I think, that's been formed because there's property management involved. There's a whole lot of other things. There's a longer future, and it's in another country. So I think you really got a good thing set up there, Scott. And I think you've got to keep going. And for those people that have ever thought about maybe going and did want to go, I'd suggest go along. It can be expensive, but let me tell you what, your returns that you're going to get from whether it's a business relationship or whether it's from a real estate deal, I think will pay for itself 10 times over.
Well, there's also that thing, how much is it going to cost if you make a mistake?
Yeah.
Henny says if you buy a bad property in our country, it's a lemon.
Yeah.
If you buy a bad country in a foreign country, it's a lemon for not just your life, but generations.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So,
and Henny's a very conservative investor.
Yeah.
He's not somebody that just jumps onto anything. I mean, he's been doing it in Australia, and doing it here in South Africa. And so he knows, I mean, he's not going to just jump into any country just doing any willy-nilly investment. He checks out, does his due diligence properly before he goes in. So having Henny, as part of Wealth Migrate and leading that and driving that process as well for you guys, I think is also a massive kudos.
Neale, I want to thank you so much for coming over. It's been an awesome honour. I always enjoy spending time with you. You've got a great buzz and great energy. We have a huge amount of fun. And I also want to applaud you on behalf of your readers for the magazine, because you take the time and the effort to come out so that they can get the right information, learn from the right type of partners. You vet stuff. And we're all, as I said, we're all very busy, and so if I just take the time to read this every month, then I'm going to get so much further, and not just going to be trying to use gut feel and make mistakes. So I really want to thank you and applaud you. And to be honest, it's been awesome, and I hope we do lots more trips in the future.
Absolutely, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks.